good to have the winning feeling back once more, and better yet, this is the first away day I've been to where I've actually witnessed a victory, a goal at that matter, because we didn't score at Blackburn and we didn't score at Wigan. So third away day, third time lucky, great success. Alrighty then, so let's talk about the statistics and the breakdown, shall we? Just press that again, just make sure that it's on. Okay, I'm going to read the breakdowns first, as per usual, and then we'll get into these stats and whatnot. So let's go. So the first half is what you'd expect. It was boring. Still struggling to make the forward runs, and the midfield isn't exactly creative. Static passing and minimal movement. A shot on target at least. The Huddersfield fans were allowed to begin, but they silenced after about 5 minutes. They were pretty boring, which led to a lot of banter in our chants throughout basically the whole match. It was hilarious. I loved it. Half-time was highly entertaining. It really was. There was hilarious people on the microphone, plenty of good entertainment in terms of like things to win money. The visitor they had in at half-time, and the constant like cracking jokes at our goals, our goal record, which soon turned into karma. It was just really entertaining. It was hilarious. So all the props in the world, far better than what we've got at Deepdale. Yeah, class. Second half was off to a flyer, with Cunningham scoring a 50-minute header, which gave us the lead, and it gave everyone on the pitch and in the concession a much-needed morale boost, as the performance from here on was pretty much good. It was great, actually. It's better in terms of attacking football as well. The atmosphere from us was great anyways, but it doubled its passion from the remaining 40 minutes. The performance did start to drop very slowly towards the last 10 minutes especially. It got pretty poor again, but we held the lead as long as necessary. We didn't try and get too greedy after a few missteps. So yeah, good to see it. Good to see it. So we'll talk about the stats now. So they had 9 shots, we had 10. Which is more than Stoke, I can say that much. We're slowly creeping back up to what we were having previously. They had none on target, and we had 3. So, of course, 3 is not massive again. I think 2 of those actually came from Alvaro. The other one was, of course, Cunningham's header. We had more possession. I think this is one of the first games where we've actually won with more possession. It's very strange. The first half was definitely all about possession. And Huddersfield were on some decently high press, I suppose, but it was just a game of like pass and wait and pass and wait. Simple as that. It's just static gameplay is all I can say about the first half. But coming out in the second half, it was just boom, a million miles an hour. And I suppose that header as well definitely gave it a much needed boost for us and a drop for them, because otherwise I reckon this could have been a level game. But yeah, good stuff. That's twice this season we've won at Huddersfield away now, so that's good. We had the more passes, of course, better accuracy this time, less fouls from us, which is rare. We had no red cards. We had only 1 yellow, for which was Story, I believe. I'll check that in a minute. And we had 3 offsides. Like I said on Twitter, follow me on Twitter if you don't already. Link in the description. There must be an unwritten rule or like a very small fine print in the rule book that says Reece has to be offside at least once a game. And I can see people's points that Haaland's offside all the time, but the difference is Haaland's a machine. Or players like Sinclair. I saw someone mention Sinclair as well. The difference between Reece and Sinclair is way past his prime. His prime days, maybe around his Man City days. I don't really know, to be honest, but I think Reece is only just getting started. Last season was the start of the prime, and this season it's about getting it into the fucking 4th gear. So yeah, hopefully so. So let's take a look at the table, which I forgot to do last time. So, of course, Blackburn now are going to be all over Twitter, making sure we understand that they are winning the league now, even though they already won it on the second week of the fucking league. So you tell me what's going on with these fuckers. They'll end up back down here in a few weeks. Burnley are now second, so two Lancashire clubs at the top, and then in the playoffs we've got Sheffield, Luton, Norwich, and QPR. And we are falling just short alongside Swansea. We've got a goal difference of -1 still to make up for, which we will eventually do. I believe we really will. Swansea on 24 points, we're on 22, and I believe Swansea play tonight as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a gap. Same with Reading, provided which teams. Rotherham have got 2 games to play. So, but this is the funny thing about this league. If you look at the points now, there's only like a difference of 2-3 points between every team. Well, most of the teams, like between most teams at the bottom, at the top of the table. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen in this league. It's bonkers. So we're not, guaranteed to stay 8th. We're probably going to drop back down to 11th in a couple of hours' time. For all I know, fucking hell, we could go to 14th. We're going to go to 15th. Yeah, no, we're going to go to 15th. Shit. There's a lot of work to be done here in terms of points. There's definitely a lot to do. Yeah, holy shit. Right, lineups. We had Woodman there. We had Hughes, Cunningham and Story because Lindsay was still injured. Oh no, it was Ledson, sorry. Of course it was Ledson. We had Hughes, Cunningham and Story because Lindsay was still injured. Alvaro on the left, Potts on the right, Brady was on the bench for a change. We had Whiteman and Ledson in the middle, McCann in the attacking midfielder position, and then Woodburn up front with Reese. Now, when I first saw the team sheet, I thought that was a bit strange because now we're used to Maguire being up front with Reese. But the difference with Woodburn and Maguire is Maguire's a bit... I don't know. I think Maguire is like mentally still a little bit in the back of his own mind. He's like, I don't want to have a repeat of what happened, like let's say like last year and be out for 8 months again. He doesn't want to go 100%, which is why when he comes a bit more forward, he has a goal, but he calms down a bit. That's not 100% Johnny Maguire on that pitch. However, compared to what say Reese will do on the ball, how well he can hold that ball, how well he can play that ball, Maguire's a million times better than any striker we have in terms of doing that, which is why I think it's a good combination to have Maguire there. So hear me out a minute. What if we put Maguire in this attacking midfielder position, start Woodburn there because I do not want Evans on that pitch, and then maybe Parrott when he comes back, but Reese, Woodburn and Maguire. Maguire seems alright. McCann did really good in this position as well, but I think McCann is more natural back here. I think Whiteman is definitely wasted in the way that we play him because there's a lot of potential there in that lad, but I don't think he can get on that front foot. I don't know if he prefers defensive or attacking because sometimes he's really good defensively, but he can also be quite good attacking. He's got a good foot on him, so I don't know. Maybe CDM suits him. I'm not too sure, but it's just difficult trying to see what we can do with all these lads here because we've got so much midfield quality and so much midfield potential with different attributes to each of these boys that it's very difficult to know who to play where. So it's going to be a case of rotation like this, which is going to get inconsistent. So we can't rely on this system for too long, I suppose. But the 3-4-1-2 definitely does seem to be suiting us a little bit more than it was a couple of weeks ago. But Woodburn did really good. He did great there, and he only came off with a bit of I think it was a pull or something. Oh no, cramp. He came off with cramp. So just a precaution. So all good. We're all good there. Nothing to worry about. Potts did really good on his return, I think, better than Brown. And if you notice, this is the first league game this season that we have not started Brown or Johnson. They haven't been on the pitch at all. And I think we had a pretty good run tonight, so maybe it's a sign of the times to move on. But yeah, Robert Brady came on, as did Shawnee Maguire, and everyone else stayed on the bench. So that's good to see. Good to see that we're able to adapt to change. Right, let's go to our player ratings. You can see my face now. Let's go to our player ratings. So Woodman is 6. He had little to do in the first half. In the second half, he did make a couple of saves, but that was about it. He was switched on all the game. And something I'm liking is he's coming out of his box. In the first few games, he did not come out of his box at all. He camped on the line. But now he's actually moving past the 6-yard box, so that's good. And he looks like he's able to catch a few now because he uses his palms it away. He made a good header towards the end as well. Story in 8 made a decent tackle in the first half to deny Rhodes a chance. Defended well over the piece. Looked in charge at the back, as per usual. Cunningham in 8, surprised to see him play in the middle of Peeney's back 3, but he got through the first half unscathed. Through the Irishman did play rather deep, headed home the opener 5 minutes after the restart. The Irishman attacking the ball well at the back post and suiting his efforts into the bottom corner. He looked really confident after that goal. I thought you were brilliant for the rest of the game. Probably man of the match for me, if not Story. Maybe even Ledson. Ledson were really good, I think. Hughes a 7, easing his way back into the side, defended fine in the first half but didn't combine effectively with Fernandez and the midfield. Stuck to his task in the second half and saw the clean sheet over the line. Brad Potts a 6, steady enough in the first half. Had one slick move with Whiteman, was fouled as he went to cross, got up and down all night, wasn't beaten and had a few runs down the right. He did a job, simple as that, but I think he did well. Whiteman a 7, fired up from the start and escaped a booking for shoving Holmes over. I thought that would have been a booking, to be fair. Got on the ball a fair bit in the first half, but struggled to break the lines. Great corner to Cunningham's opener and took control of things after the game. Ledson was aggressive from the off, of course, and made a few interceptions in the first half, did the dirty work fairly effectively, made some really good challenges as well. Alvaro 6 lost it a couple of times with his back to goal in the first half, but options were minimal and passes into him were not the best either. Got forward and delivered a couple of crosses while seeing a powerful shot saved before the break. Also sent a low free kick just wide, had a massive chance to secure the game late on, but volleyed over when he ought to have hit the target, which was a big shame to see. McCann hit a 6, he covered the ground as he always does, but struggled to impact things as a number 10 in the first half, so a Tame header saved and kept running hard in the second, played his part, which is why I don't think he suits that number 10 position, whereas someone like Shawnee maybe could. So I don't know. Of course, I'm just another asshole on the internet, as I always say. You can't exactly do much with me, so take my opinions with a grain of salt, because I am not Pep Guardiola, as you can see. Anyways, Woodburn a 6. He had a quiet 45, despite buzzing around and looking to pick up some clever pockets of space. Plenty of endeavour, but snatched at a couple of second half volleys and then limped off after the hour mark. Looked a sore one. As far as I'm aware, it was just cramp. Reese a 6. Barely touched the ball in the first half. He had slightly more involvement in the second and set up a huge chance for Fernandez at 80. I really can't believe they didn't finish that. An outstanding cross to the back post. Frustrating night for him, but led his line okay. He made a couple of creative passes and took on a few passes really creatively as well. Creativity was really in play around 60 minutes. We made some great forward runs. The passing was phenomenal. So if we can maybe do that a bit more often, that'd be sound, mate. Brady a 6, off the bench and slotted in pretty straightforwardly for the remaining 20, picked his passes and his experience was valuable at the stage of the game. Maguire a 6, came on an injury time, looked after the ball in the corner, and he did really well to keep possession. That's why I think Maguire would do well in the 10 position, because he can dribble, he can keep hold of the ball. Finishing might not be his thing anymore, but if he can lay one off, which I know he can, he could be in some good positions here, boys. It's probably an unpopular opinion, but oh well. Right, Ryan Lowe's reactions, and then we'll wrap up, shall we? Right, on the win in the first half, I thought it was a good footballing performance, solid and resolute. I thought we were fantastic first half. Excuse me. Second half was more of the same, on the front foot, jumping at the right time and getting opportunities. We've had them recovered, rested then, and they took the game plan to fruition perfectly. It was important to bounce back, and we did that. I thought our patterns of play were very good in the first half, and that we penetrated forward quite a bit. There was a time we didn't want to risk any balls in behind when we could have done. There was a little 1-2 with Whiteman and Potsy, when Potsy could have slid it across. There was Alvaro, Woody, Hughesy down to his left side, and I thought there was some great interchange. I like how everyone we just have on this team, we have to put E, like Potsy, Whitey, Woody, Hughesy. We have to just put E on the end of everyone's name. It's quite funny. I like the way we worked from the back to the front, because we probably have gone a bit longer as of late, just because we didn't want to take too many risks. There are certain teams you can get away with doing that against, and we felt tonight was one of those. Yeah. It was probably them showing us a bit of respect and knowing that if they jumped us we could hurt them. We worked our way out, and they were probably a bit cautious. I don't think so. About that first half thing as well, fucking no. Gee, no, that first half was poor. On feeling it necessary to play things down. Manage expectations. Yeah, you know, don't you? You watch us all the time, travel away with us, and we know we can't get too high or low. This is one thing I have said to the group, that maybe the expectation has come from me of wanting to get that next jump and go, but it's hard and tough. You only look at the league and teams competing against each other. I think that's low coming off the back of a lower league side, because let's not forget, he's not managed in the Championship before, where his first rodeo with a team this high up. So maybe you can get away with these sort of things in the lower leagues, but you can't in this league. This league's it's ferocious. So maybe that's just where all that expectations come from, because this system's worked here and it's worked there and it's done this and it's done that. But the Championship's a different animal, and if we ever go to the Premier League, God forbid, we can't be playing these systems all the time. We'll get figured out so fast, because the Premier League's footballers' IQ is just on a different level. Nobody's going to roll over and just say take 3 points. I know there are going to be bumps in the road, and there are going to be good times as well. I don't want to get too carried away. You cannot get too high or too low. Let's collect as many points as we can into the World Cup, and then we'll refresh the boys and go again. So, Reece singled out. Our defenders have been brilliant, but it starts from the front, and I thought Emile was fantastic. People won't look at his work rate or what he did because he never scored or had many shots. His work rate off the ball, which we've been asking him to do, was phenomenal. He deserves a lot of credit for it. People won't look at that. We won 1-0, but we look at it more in depth. He's got a point there, because that is probably one of the more important aspects of football that people don't pay attention to, what people do off the ball. The game, I'm not even talking in the centre of the microphone. the game's not all about scoring goals. Well, we need to score to win, but it's not all about that. It's not just about what you can do going forward towards that net. It's what you can do when you don't have the ball on your feet. Can you win it back? Can you make the right challenge? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I think Reece is one of those ones who don't often do that. He'll just stand and wait and get ready to time his run. Today he did get involved a lot more, and I mean a lot more, but he still looks a bit reluctant to make a header, and I don't know why. He might just not like making a header sometimes, because it's uncomfortable for some people. It's uncomfortable for me when I try and make a header. I don't mind it when the ball's floating, but when the ball's going at you like 100 miles an hour, I don't fancy heading the ball. I'd rather let it drop and maybe control it with my foot and my chest. But I don't know. It's one of those funny things, and it might not be comfortable with it. But if he can get himself on the header more often, I do think Reece could be one of the best strikers we've seen in the last few years, really. On Cunningham, Greg is a seasoned pro and an older pro now, very true. He's been fantastic every game. Having him out will be key to sustaining him for the season. My job is to make sure we freshen it up at the right times. Okay, when I asked Greg to do a job in the middle of the back three tonight, I knew he'd be able to do it against certain teams. So in other words, he's saying Huddersfield is shit. We'll get him on the ball to get us playing and ticking. Must have had nearly 100% pass completion tonight. It was brilliant. I thought it was fantastic. There are other players who can do that. Bambo did it okay on Saturday, but he hasn't played much, and we can't throw him back in. Lindsay's not quite right, so we've got to play who we can feel we can step in to do the job. Now, this is the only problem that I've got ticking in the back of my mind now when we're thinking about these players and lineups wise. What are we going to do for Saturday? Because if you're somehow unaware, Saturday we play Blackpool at Doomfield. Is Lindsay going to be better? Is it a good idea to throw Lindsay back? Because Cunningham did fantastic tonight. If we can play this same back three, then I don't think there's going to be too many problems there. If I get back to this team sheet a minute, and I try and change the page to white, because you can't see me. Oh, you don't need to see me face, it's not important. These back three, the back three is always solid. As long as Story is there at least, then that's 33%. If Cunningham or Lindsay's there, that's 66%. And if Hughes is there, it's 100% near enough. Nothing's ever 100%, so it's 99%. Bambo's, probably 15%, because he's not exactly all there yet, I don't think, and he's the only other one that we have on the bench option for a defender. But it's clear to me, fucking hugely clear, that Bambo is not on the same level as these four. Cunningham usually plays here. No, does it? Yeah, no, yeah. Cunningham usually plays where Hughes is, because he's been subbed off and on for Hughes quite a few times. But in the centre of the park, I think he did better in the centre than he does on the left. So maybe this could be a new awakening for Gregory. I don't know. But then when it comes to the middle of the pitch as well, we need to consider who we're going to put there for Blackpool. If we see Alan Brown or Daniel Johnson starting, that's it. We're fucking lost. Because Whiteman and Ledson, yeah, they're sound. These two, because this fella will make these runs. Well, he doesn't make the runs, but he's great. He's great at making the decent challenge and playing the ball forward. Ledson doesn't give a fucking. He'll break your knees if he has to. But then when it comes to playing a ball forward, he's better on the long ball. And the long ball is sometimes what we are very bad at, because everyone up front is very, very short, especially Maguire. Obviously, Alan Brown could be the replacement for Potts as the right wing back, but more of an attacking wing back, because Potts does very well defensively, and he'll put that good ball in forward. But Brown, if he's feeling it, he can make a decent run forward. So there's two different quality of right wing back there. Brady as well. This is the problem. We've got so many options in terms of this general space, and this space is fine, so we don't have to worry about it. But this general midfield, there are so many different options, and rotating the lads is going to be something that will be done to try and save us all a little bit of juice in the tank. But it depends where everyone's being played, because, like I said, Brady's doing really good in the 10 position, but he's also great in this position. Brown is decent there, but he's also good in the midfield when he's having a good day. In terms of Alvaro, he should definitely stay there. Please don't move him. Whiteman can sometimes be okay in the number 10 position as well. Ledson's always interchangeable for a few people. Maguire's usually there where Woodburn is. Reece will never get changed, because he's probably our prime striker at the minute. Evans is just not with it at the moment. I don't think Maguire's definitely with it, but he can't score. So that's why I'm thinking maybe number 10 for Maguire. Everyone's interchangeable in so many different ways. This team is like a fucking... It's like a PC or a Lego set. You can just change any one piece. Everything will still hold together, but the performance will be completely different based on who plays where. And I think it's about identifying the ideal position for every player. That's our main focus. Well, that's what should be our main focus, in my opinion. Because everyone seems to have the well, not the mentality, but they've got the right idea of what needs to be done, but it's just finding that ideal position for everyone to play, and I think that's where we need to be looking at, because this is good, but with some of the stuff we did today, we would not get away with against the teams such as, say, where's the table? Such as Rotherham, maybe, because Rotherham seemed quite good at an offside trap. Luton are in form at the minute. We beat Luton, but I think we had a bit of a lucky day there. With fucking Potts turning into a helicopter. Burnley are doing well. I don't even want to talk about Blackburn because whatever you say is wrong to them. Sheffield, again, great team. I don't think we can get away with that against Sheffield. Norwich, depends. QPR, no. QPR are doing great. Maybe same with Swansea as well. This is what I mean. We can get away with it with teams down here, but teams up here, probably not. So, if we can identify that position for everyone where we can get the right balance of good attacking and good defending, while also making sure you can do this and you can do that, we're solid, we're fine. We can then crack open a bottle of fucking going up juice, but until then, one step at a time, peeps. Let's not get too excited just yet. There's still a lot of work to be done. The second half was great, but the first half not so much. So let's get it fucking going. Let's get this train rolling. Let's get the steam blowing. We need to keep the momentum. Right, points to make. The travelling fans were fantastic. The home fans were garbage. The first half was awful. The second half was almost the perfect balance of the attacking and defending system that I've just mentioned. Cunningham was beyond brilliant despite the unusual positioning. And the referee was surprisingly quality tonight. He gave most things our way. And I'm not just saying he's quality because he did that. But I mean, that's part of the argument. Sorry, Mike. But he also made a couple of right choices. I think he pissed off a few home fans as well, which were quite funny. Alright, cool. The pros, we scored a goal. We nabbed an important 3 points. We had a great second half. We had a creative play, which led to the good chances. Unfortunately, we couldn't finish them, but we still had quite creative play and good passing. We had top quality defending and brilliant support across the board. We only had 2 cons, in my opinion, which was well, 1 con. The other one's not exactly a con. We had a poor first half. Everything else after that was pretty much fine, in my opinion. And the other one was that we had no fist pump from Law. I had my camera out. I was like this. I'm gonna get my first fist pump because I've never experienced this before, and he didn't do it. I was a little bit upset. I can't lie. I was looking forward to doing that, but no. Instead, he gathered the players round, and I think he made the players applaud instead of. Obviously, his shoulder's a bit fucked at the minute, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna snap his shoulder on Saturday if we win. But well, my first away fist pump. We've had a few of them at home. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Yeah, so he got the players together instead, and they gave us all an applause instead. So make it seem more like a group effort, and I like that. That sense of involvement will definitely boost the players' morale and stuff. So yeah, it's good stuff to see that regardless, but would have preferred a traditional fist pump, but he gets a lot of shit for it apparently, so fuck knows. Anyways, I've been your host, as per usual. Sunday, of course, you'll get the Blackpool video, and depending if we win, I'll be very happy. If we lose, I'll be very, very upset. If we draw, I don't know. Now I'll think about it, but depends on the performance, really. As long as we have a good performance, then I don't think I'm going to be too pissed off. But either way, as long as we don't draw, if we get any other result apart from draw, I'll probably go out drinking on Saturday night, either in celebration or depression. So, if you don't get the video on Sunday and you get it Monday instead, that's why. So yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in. It's going to be a good weekend. Maybe.